First, I'm going to start off with Golden State and Houston last night. Everyone, listen to what I'm telling you because it's too obvious to ignore anymore. I did not see the whole game, so full disclosure. Game was on later. I typically try to go to bed a little bit earlier. But of course, with what I do, I'm constantly researching, constantly watching, looking. Even if it's not during the game, I do a follow-up process. The end of the game yesterday in Houston, with the right to advance in the NBA Cup, Warriors Rockets. Steph Curry takes a step back three, ball hits the rim. Everybody goes for the rebound. There's a scramble for it, and Jonathan Kuminga gets called for a foul that was under no circumstance a foul in any league at any time in any era ever. And anybody who knows me knows I can't stand talking about referees and calls and such. I don't believe refs impact a game, or historically, I have not believed that referees impact games. It should never be left into their hands to decide a game. But I think that there's a pattern developing here, and it's happening across multiple sports where it's almost like the outcome is intended to be a certain kind of way. It's almost like, I don't know, 15, 20, Tim Donaghy's running around out there between multiple sports. I mean, he was a basketball referee who was in on the fix. I don't know if it's going on in football, if the game and the speed has just gotten to be too much, if the burden and responsibility is just too much on referees and umpires and stuff. But they say that statistically the calls are where they're supposed to be. Bullshit. It seems like these calls are ending up at a time of a game where it's deciding a game. Now, for me personally, as a former coach, I don't like to blame the refs, and I also don't believe that games should be called different ways at different times of a game or at different times of a season. So historically, the NHL, the refs swallow the whistle come playoff times. If a penalty is a penalty, a penalty is a penalty, a foul is a foul, an out is an out. It doesn't matter what sport it is. Pass interference is pass interference. Whether it's in the first minute of the game, the last minute of the game, the first minute of the first game, or the last minute of the Super Bowl. Call it the way that it stands. If you don't call it the way that it stands and you allow something to go that is not supposed to go, somebody's still getting screwed. This is not difficult to understand. If you're the receiving team and the other team interferes with you, it's interference. If the other team interferes with you and you don't call it and you do call it interference, the other team can't bitch. We're not here to please people. We're here to call the game and not affect the outcome by improper or poor calls, regardless of situation. Now, I'm not a Steve Kerr fan, and I'm on record. I don't like what that guy has talked about. I don't quite like the way that he thinks. I used to be a big fan of his. I'm not so much anymore. He's really, really out there. All right, he's not even in the middle anywhere on his thoughts. He's very extreme in the way he thinks and very, quite frankly, offensive in the way he thinks. But he's standing there on the sidelines last night, and he's pretty much in this pose. And it was like he was a painted statue. And if I'm Steve Kerr in that moment, I'm doing the same thing. You bust your ass for 47 minutes, basically, and 50 seconds, 55 seconds to have it come down to that. Then I heard some prognosticators or some people, pundits that said, oh, you can't call a foul in that position. Again, if it's a foul in that position, you call the foul in that position. The thing of it here is by any standard, and I haven't seen if the NBA has called out, has decided to apologize and say they were in error. I'd be shocked if they don't. It's egregious at the highest level. Fortunately, this is the NBA Cup and doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot in the grand scheme of things. It's not like it was in the finals. But again, irrespective, the fans are wanting to see the right team win or the right plays be called, right fouls be called, and have it refereed in a standard capacity. Now, we can't get into this situation where 100% of everything is reviewed. There is a man error there, a human error. I get it. It's in all sports, right? but maybe it's just catching up. Maybe it's just too fast now. Maybe it's just too hard. There's 3 referees on the court. One of the 3 last night makes this call. The other 2 basically are not going to override that. You might see it in the NFL. What are there, 9 referees, I believe, not referees, but linesmen and referee on the football field, and somebody gets a different angle. It's a larger field. It's 100 yards long, 53 yards wide. You know, a basketball course, 94 feet from baseline to baseline. It's just not as big. There's a lot less ground to cover. Hence the 3 referees. Everything's tight. You got 10 people on the floor plus 3 referees. It's all pretty congested. How you missed that, I don't know. I didn't have any money on this game. It's just this is wrong on every level that they can't seem to get it right. You know, they have these coaches challenges and stuff, and expedited reviews and instant replay and all this kind of stuff. Replay the fucking play and get it right. Stop getting it wrong. No one deserved to see that outcome, most especially the players who laid it all out on the line. Get the call right. It's really simple. So I just think that we have enough evidence now and enough, statistical fact to show that it appears, okay? Not saying it is for sure, but it started to appear like either Vegas or someone or something is affecting the outcome by some of these outrageous calls and or non-calls that are directly affecting the outcomes of games. It has to stop. The fans will get fed up, they will get frustrated, and they will walk. It's pretty simple. All of these contracts and all of the sports, and I'm going to get to that in baseball in a minute, they're based on TV contracts, they're based on sponsorship dollars, they're based on all of that together. But if you take the interest out of the game or games, whatever sport it is, whatever league it is, if you take the interest out and you piss off the fans and they fill their time with something else, you're done. It's a wrap. It's over. So I almost said David Stern. My gosh, Adam Silver, whoever it is in whatever league, figure it the F out and put a stop to it. Put a stop to it. And guess what, baseball purists, and I'll get to you in a minute, if that requires a electronic strike zone to get it right, then do it. One of the greatest pitchers ever, okay? He was one of the greatest pitchers ever. I can't argue it. Greg Maddux, Atlanta Braves. Anyone will tell you, whether you watch the game or follow the game or his career or not, he got the benefit of the outside, the far outside corner as a pitcher in the National League for however many years he pitched. They're clearly outside. And then they would say, oh, the American League doesn't call it this way. And the whole DH versus the pitcher batting in ninth position for all of those years. Why does Greg Maddux get a different strike zone than, I don't know, Roger Clemens when he was with the Red Sox, as an example, or the Yankees, or any team? Why does one game or one umpire behind the plate have a different set of strike zone? He calls the high ball more. He has a lower strike zone. He's willing to go more outside. He's willing to go more inside. What is this? So you have to know the referee, or you have to know the umpire, and you have to tailor things around the way that ref or ump might call the game. Is this not backwards? I don't hear enough people talk about this. I really don't. There's a million sports pundits. There's a million sports channels. There's a million podcasts. I don't hear it. Why are players customizing their effort and their strategy in a game based on what the refs do? Moneyball fans, you could watch it when they show kind of behind the scenes when they're studying film and the batters are studying other pitchers and say, oh, he gets the benefit of the outside. He gets the benefit of the inside. It's higher for him. It's lower for him. That sinker breaks late, whatever the case may be, and he gets the benefit of the call. It's a strike or it's not a strike. It's a foul or it's not a foul. It's insurance. It's insurance. It's interference or it's not interference. It's slashing or tripping or it's not. Everybody universally. And if you don't universally call it, then you're gone. You're fired. You don't get to make your own rules within the NHL or Major League Baseball. So terrible, 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 terrible. And it's across all sports. I hope it stops. It's hard to watch that. It's hard. It's hard. And I'm telling you, though I coached at a small level, you bust your ass. And these are professionals. I get it. But no one deserves to lose based on egregious errors like this. And it's not even once in a while anymore. It's happening basically every night in basically every sport. If there's not, but if there's 10 basketball games tonight, you're going to see it in every game. 12, 13 football games on Sunday, you're going to see it in every game. It's just, I don't see how that's acceptable. I don't understand how the standard is not higher. It's just, it's insane to me, and more people up in arms about